Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of this UnBee-lievable Life. Today I have with me Maria Dennis from the Myers Starbucks. How I got connected with her is I actually do coffee grounds from there for my flower farm. So I asked Maria to tell us a little bit more about her story. Maria moved to Evansville in 2000 to attend USI, and she never left. She worked in hospice for over 10 years, and then she worked with DCS clients for 2 years. However, she decided she needed a break and wanted to find a job that was more fun and less emotionally taxing. So she has been with the Evansville Meijer Starbucks for almost 2 years. Pertaining to what we're going to be talking about in her story, I am so proud to share that Maria was awarded the Starbucks Green Apron Award for community service and outreach projects. Maria, take it away.
Let's see. My name is Maria. I work for Evansville Meijer Starbucks. I've been there for about 2 years. I call myself an Evansville transplant because I'm not a native, but I've been here for 20 plus years. I've met some really, really great people. I don't necessarily have family here, but I've kind of created my own little family. I started with Starbucks almost 2 years ago, and I just needed a break, like a mental break from the big grown-up jobs I had. And so I thought, well, I can make coffee. I love coffee. And all I knew about Starbucks is that, they sell coffee and lattes and all this stuff. So I started working there, and I really enjoyed it. Like the people, I keep saying, this is like my favorite job because all you have to do is fix like a good cup of coffee, have some good conversation. You're not really solving the world's problems or anything like that, which that's kind of what I needed, was a break from the emotional things that I had done, as a caseworker and things like that. As I started to learn more about Meijer and Starbucks, I learned that, they really cared about their communities, and being, trying to be, like more resourceful, less waste, things like that. So I also started like a new love of gardening. And, I did my own little research, and coffee grounds are great for your garden. And then I was like, oh my gosh, we like throw all those away. Like, what? And I'm trying to save like my little K-cups for my own personal. And so I did a little more research, and I found out that, Starbucks has all, like grounds for your garden. It's something, they even have stickers they send you to put. They'll send you the buckets. But the cool thing is that with Meijer, with Meijer, like all the cake icing comes in buckets. And before I started the grounds for your garden, those buckets were just being thrown away. Occasionally people would come in and, customers, and they would ask, if the bakery could save them some buckets, but they were just being thrown away. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then also, when, my newfound love of gardening, I learned that buckets are really expensive. I was like, what? Why are we throwing these away? So I was like, well, we'll just get the buckets from the bakery and we'll put all our grounds in there. And they got stickers. I started promoting it. I want to say it was like the beginning of last summer, putting signs so people would know, because the garden part of Meijer was all set up. And we started getting people like, we can hardly keep coffee grounds in there. Now that it's getting, back to that gardening season, like people were coming in like that didn't even know we had a Starbucks or didn't know, but they're seeing our sign. So all these coffee grounds are, we give them away for free. I've learned other great uses for coffee grounds. Okay, like a guy said he sprinkles it in his yard and it keeps the mosquitoes away. And then other guy said he puts it in his fire pit and burns it, and it also repels mosquitoes. I've not tried those, but if you're interested, give it a try. Most people do put them in their gardens. I know Nikki puts them in her flower farm, uses it for that. But that has been really awesome. And people are always like, if you're a gardener, the expensive buckets, which I didn't know there was like gold. But like I always tell them, we don't need the buckets back. You can keep those. Oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, consider it a souvenir. And everybody, well, I can put this bucket to good use. So it's been really cool to do stuff like that, like, finding new uses for things that we already had that, if not, we would just be thrown away. We also, the other things that I do is before I started, like, with Starbucks has like a policy, like if you open a 5-pound bag of coffee beans, they're only good for 7 days. That's their policy. However, we all know that coffee beans last longer. So what I do is I grind them up and I put them in little Starbucks bags. At first it was Ziploc bags, and then donate them to the food pantry, or the Salvation Army. So, like instead of just throwing them away. I mean, they are good for the garden, but they haven't even been brewed or anything. So all that gets donated. Anything that I can like give back, we just do. The food pantry comes in twice a week, and the bakery donates, we donate, and they come and pick it up. And then trying to think, it must have been like probably around this time last year, and Starbucks said, they come up with a community project that you can do, something like that. And it wasn't like a have to, it was like a suggestion. And because of my background, I was really struggling. While I love my job with Starbucks, and the customers, we have our regulars, and I was really struggling, like, am I making a difference? I'm a natural caregiver. And so I was really, really struggling. Like, I just felt like I wasn't making a difference, not like I wanted to, I guess. And then when I saw this, that, they were encouraging you to get involved in your community. And because of my work in as a caseworker and things, I knew of all the homeless we had, all the needs we have in our own little community of Evansville. And so I started reaching out to, you have to forgive me, I always struggle with this, Aurora. And, they do a lot for the homeless. They even like accept their mail. They have places where they can shower there. They provide personal hygiene, you name it. And I just knew that, from, like I said, from my background. And I'm like, how cool would it be if we, went out there, us, this little Starbucks in the corner of Evansville Meijer, would partner with them. And so that was our first one. I reached out to them. We took, I had a couple of other managers in the store that helped. I took my child with me, my older one. I took one of our baristas, and it was just the four of us, but we set up, and we had like iced tea, like Starbucks iced tea. We took bags of chips, granola bars, bottled water, and we just kind of set up, we had cookies from the bakery, and we just set up these the tables on their lawn there, and people just started coming, and a lot of them were homeless. They were there to receive services, and met some really cool people. We loaded up their backpacks with water. There was there's a lady, her name was Daisy. She was so much fun. And she was we did a little dance off TikTok right there on the lawn. We had fun. She was showing me her moves, and she picked the song out, and it was just letting people know that we cared, and listening to their stories. Like they were able to take a little extra with them, in their backpacks. And then it was trying to think, probably like the following month, I reached out to the Salvation Army, and the Salvation Army has their hot lunches like Monday through Friday. And I said, I'd be more than happy. I can come out with some of the staff and, help serve lunch, or we can bring drinks, or, and they're really open. They're just like, oh, whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And so what I ended up doing, it's funny because I am very forget, and I remembered to take the black tea, but I forgot the iced coffee. Like, what? This is Starbucks, lady. Forgot the iced coffee. Like, who does that? So it's like, next time I'll bring the iced coffee. And it was the same thing. We brought chips, granola bars, bags and candy for the kids. We had like the $2 cups that you might see at Starbucks. And I just like donated those, like the reusable ones. Like that's how we serve the iced tea. And so like I donated all those. Our district manager, Tony, he came to help me. And it was just basically the two of us. And it was very well organized. But that day, I want to say it was like over 300 people that were served. We did not have much left over. There was a little pregnant lady there, and she just like broke my heart because she was so teeny tiny, and all she had was this little tiny belly, and she couldn't have certain foods because she was having like acid reflux and all this stuff. So I'm like loading her up with like chips, like the just potato chips, no flavor. Like, here's some waters, like like I thought like the chips would be more like saltines, so they wouldn't, it would help kind of help her with that, because I remember being pregnant myself and how horrible that felt. And they were homeless, and but yeah, that was a lot of fun, just like talking. I love talking to people. I love hearing their stories. I'm like a junkie for stories. Any stories. So that was a lot of fun. Then our next one we did was around Christmas, and this one was really, really neat too. It was with Ozanam Family Shelter, and it was just neat because Ozanam, being a family shelter, they take the parents, the kids. There's not many in our area, and we were able to like cook breakfast. We were able to cook breakfast for the whole shelter. We took like little activity pads for the kids, and it was just neat, because I'm like, how much entertainment can there be at a shelter? um and so I'm like, how fun, like, and then being homeless, you're not going to have like the normal luxuries. Like, I call them luxuries. My kids are very spoiled, like tablets and all that stuff. They're struggling and they don't have all that, so we took these little activity pads, and it was like we handed these kids like $1 million. Like, they were so excited. They went outside after they ate their breakfast, and like you could see them all sitting on these little picnic tables, and just like working on them. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool, because I didn't know like how they would react to them, like this is it, or because we live in such a techie world. So my goal is to continue to be involved in our community and research anything that we could do to help. Meijer as a company has done very, very well. Like, I pretty much, I call it going shopping. Everything's approved. Like, they don't care. Like, like they donate everything, all the chips, the bottled water. I just go pick it out, load it in my car. I mean, Starbucks has been great too. With just like wanting to help and provide for the community. So that has been really cool. And I'm always looking for, new opportunities. And my goal, like I said, is to do at least one a month, whether it be something simple like delivering coffee to our local first responders or the schools, stuff like that. Because I think we did that in February where, we took freshly brewed coffee to the rescue mission. We took some to the YWCA. We Ozanon was another one, and just kind of like spread some cheer that way. As of right now, you can find us on Facebook. It's Evansville Meijer 287. And just like follow the page or whatever the lingo is. And if you have any ideas as to like anything else that maybe I haven't heard that we can help in the community, like reach out, send a message. We would love to host. What is it like with donuts with a cop? Is that what it's called now? That would be something awesome, to host. So I'm always looking for ways to get involved.
Maria, thank you so much for sharing your unbelievable life. Girl, like I texted you and messaged you in the chat, I think you are an angel. We need more of the helpers in this world, and I am so proud of the work that you do in our community. Thank you so much. With that said, if anybody has any questions for Maria or would like to connect on an upcoming project, by all means, reach out to them by their Facebook page, or you're more than welcome to contact me to get you in touch with Maria. With that said, thank you everybody for listening. Take care and have a blessed and wonderful rest of the day.